Hi, I'm George Nordhaus, and welcome to Monday morning. This is going to be a little bit different because we're going to take a long look at this. 2015 is coming, or a short look, but a valid one, because 2015 is coming up here, and we want to be prepared, obviously. And what better time to prepare than November for next year? And so my partner, Val Jordan, who is president of AgenciesOnline, is going to put things in perspective, and it's a philosophy that she uses as she works with our AgenciesOnline clients, our members, and she puts all these philosophies. So I asked her to kind of bundle everything up in a way and show what, not show what we do specifically. We're not going to go on the websites and all that, but to show what is our philosophy. Where are we going from here? Val is in South Carolina. She was she's been a consultant. She's been with insurance companies. She's ran a 90-plus person agency, had 20-some-odd producers working for her over in South Carolina. She became a consultant at that stage game. Her husband, Bill, also a consultant, a photography consultant, but Bill works with Val now. And they work with agents all day long, every day, every single day, top to bottom, with AgenciesOnline. So Val, what are you going to what's your goal? What do you want to do?
Well, I want to leave a solid plan for an agency to meet with their agency personnel to really give a good thought to 2015 planning. Because if you don't do it now and you wait until January, you're too late. So what we want to do is just spend a couple minutes this morning to go through what we are in the process of doing with our members and just give some thought that they would consider for their own insurance agency.
You know, I like that particularly about because, I mean, in addition to the fact that it makes sense in November, on January 1 with Monday morning, we're going to take the McKinsey report again with Scott Addison, Roger Sitkins, and Bruce Cochran with Renaissance, and we're going to put that in perspective with this. So I think this is perfect timing, and when they hear that one, it'll all come together. Okay, let's see it.
Absolutely. So 2015 is really the year where agencies start to make their transition from being customer-focused to client-focused. And I really want agencies to consider their model, because when they move to a client-centric model, no longer are you in the get a quote, get an instant quote, get it, you know, that kind of a mindset, but really dealing with the client, womb to the tomb kind of situation where you're fulfilling needs as opposed to selling product. And that's a big distinction. And with the Geicos of the world, as you talked about before, George, it's important that that client service is really the distinction between an independent insurance agency and those, you know, give me a quote in 7 minutes or less kind of mentality. Because what's happening is they're selling a product but leaving all of the other needs of that particular person, that consumer, out of the mix, and that really is not doing a good job as an insurance agency.
I agree. They've got to know where they are with each of their clients too, and that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Okay, let's use that as our guide then.
So what we want to do is, how are you going to meet those challenges? And one of the sayings that we always use at AgenciesOnline is, you know, you work in your business while we work on it. So how do you work on your business? And you do that through careful strategic planning. So it always starts with your brand. Are you consistent with your logo? Do you have a tagline? Do you have a mission statement that the employees follow and go and use as their guide? Do you have corporate colors? I have a great example where I had one of my agents, when I was with our agency, brought me a flyer that he wanted to use at an exhibit booth. And of course, you know, everybody waits till the last minute to get everything set for an exhibit anyway. So he brought it in. The logo was upside down. It was in the wrong color. and he used clip art for the photograph that was used on the flyer. So needless to say, every brand and standard that we had was broken. So it's really critical that no matter what you do, whether it's in print, electronic, in a social environment, whatever, is that your brand is consistent so that the consumer or your client can recognize it.
Let me ask something about that. You let me go back one, if you will.
Yeah, sure.
Please. Tagline. Give me an example. I see some taglines. Can you think of one off the top? I can't.
We're using one with one of our clients now, the DiMatteo difference. That could be a tagline, meeting your needs today and tomorrow, anything like that. Usually it is indicative to the agency, and it speaks to their value proposition.
Yeah, I like the taglines. I see them everywhere. When I don't see them, I kind of look for them. I like corporate colors too. We've kind of done that too with the change this year. Okay, move forward.
Yep. And of course, your mission statement is very important because your employees and your clients should know what exactly it is that the agency aspires to, and then what exactly that they provide to the client on a day-to-day basis.
Right. All right.
So defining your client, and again, what I have found is that a lot of agencies don't know their client base. And really, as you wrap up your bookkeeping and everything at year end, here's a great opportunity to run the reports to see exactly what does your client base consist of. You can run it by product, you can run it by market niche, you can run it by personal or commercial, get a size of an account or whatever. And this information is vital. It is critical to the agency to know exactly where their clients are so that they can then customize plans for each one of their segmented clients so that what they're investing their time and dollars in is well spent and has a very good chance of being adopted by that niche because you've customized your message for that individual client base.
Yeah, I've been finding out over the years too that most of the agents that I've talked to over the years really don't know their client base, well, to the extent of which ones don't we make money on, which
That's
ones
correct.
do we make money on, and so forth. And I really I think it's going to be vital. Just don't think we can spend the rest of our career, in 2015 at least, dealing with customers we can't afford. And who they are.
And I think that's very true. I think that's very true. 80% of your business comes from 20% of your client base. Yep. So what that means is that you have to know who your VIP client is. You have to know who your A, B, and C client is. And then when you do have a C client, how much time do you actually devote to that client? Because if you spend too much, you're losing money on them. So you really need to be able to focus on those clients, even though you don't like to say this, because they're the revenue generators. You want to make sure that they're well satisfied in your services and the products that you're providing to them so that they continue to represent that significant amount of revenue for your agency.
Right. Got it.
So really, 2015 strategy has 3 different components, and it's part of our tagline.
Yeah, it sure is.
Communication, marketing, and technology simplified. But you really need to create your plans to focus and taking into consideration each one of these 3 components. So technology, websites are obviously important. Do I think that it's the be-all, the end-all? Absolutely, because no matter what you do from a marketing perspective, there should always be a call to action back to your website. If you have not updated your website since 2013, you're out of date already. Okay, yeah. You need to take a look at what your site looks like, the tools you're using, etc., because technology, meaning your laptop, your tablets, your cell phone, are dictating how the consumer is going to touch that website. So if you have a very archaic design, it's going to look like Hades when you bring it up on a tablet or on a cell phone. Your sites need to be responsive. You need to be able to have a robust website, not only because you want to have a good SEO, but you also want to have a value-added service that you can provide to your clients so that they can come in and work with you no matter what time of the day or night. Your agency management system is, again, it's like your best kept secret in the fact that, again, that 80-20 rule. 20% of agency management systems are utilized, which means there's 80% of powerhouse that that agency management system can do for you, that you need to take. Someone in the agency takes ownership of that agency management system and really looks at it from a marketing perspective, because that is a gold mine. You look to it for your processes and procedures, you looked at it for best practices, but more importantly, you want to use that as a valuable marketing tool.
I'll tell you what I'm finding out, Val, working with agency management systems, that I've been, for 4 years, I've been praying and trooping and beating on those guys and saying, hey, come on, let's get some management. Let's get some marketing stuff in here. And I am seeing a break now. Finally, they're beginning to realize it. I think some of the newer management systems that are coming along, there's some good new ones instead of the big two, and you know who those are. But I think those guys are doing it, don't you? I think they're teaching these other big guys a lesson. It's time we use the agency management system for marketing.
Exactly, and I think that some people are bolting on front ends, CRMs to go with it. But to me, your agency management system is your CRM. So how do you turn that into being a marketing powerhouse? And until the big boys that are playing in this arena actually address that, it really is a loss to the agency, because they could really utilize this to track their campaigns, to be the vehicle to send things out, and really, again, to slice and dice data on an automatic standpoint, which I think, as you said, is being addressed by the new kids on the block. And I think, the larger players are going to have to adapt this pretty quickly, or they're going to lose some of their market share to the young whippersnappers who are able to do this on a very quick programming basis.
I totally agree.
So from a communications tool, obviously there's a lot that's happening in that arena. Live chat is something that agencies are starting to espouse to, because it gives their agencies and their clients another way to communicate with them during, their office hours, so to speak. Social media is a big thing, and you need to be able to have different strategies, to come up with one campaign, throw it on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and think that you're going to get the return on that is folly. You have to have a really targeted approach to what you want to do from a social media standpoint for Facebook clients, for LinkedIn clients, and getting messages out through Twitter. So,
I know you think of so much of it that you've hired somebody for us, for Agencies Online, to do just that.
That's correct. That's correct. And so, but again, I don't want an agency to run by its social media. It is just one component of an overall plan. And then, of course, from an electronic standpoint, you have all of your email marketing, your blasts that you can send out, utilizing your website to send some marketing and some mobile promotions and things of that sort out. So again, you need to be able to build how you want to touch your client electronically or a prospect, and that you have the consumer protections and your opt-in, opt-out, because the laws are changing and you can really get yourself in a lot of trouble if you don't have all of these things, all of your ducks in a row, so that you don't get yourself in hot water as far as electronic marketing is concerned.
Right.
From a marketing standpoint, obviously, you have to create plans, and that could be aimed at a market, it could be aimed at a client. It really depends. And you should take advantage of all media that is out there. Your virtual meetings, your in-person meetings, electronically, of course, snail mail, You know, with the age of electronic, now your email inbox is turning out to be your what used to be your mailbox. And so what's happening is your mailbox is now an orphan with very few things that come except bills, and this might be a great opportunity to do snail mail because people like to get mail. Social media, again, needs to be a component of any marketing campaign that you're doing. And then, of course, whatever you're doing, you should have the appropriate page on the website. It should be a mini landing page. There should be calls to actions to the website in order to make it effective as an effective part of your marketing plan.
Okay.
Communications are really important. Are you consistent? And if you are determining the value of your client, your VIP ABC, your communication plan is going to change depending on the hierarchy of that particular client. You know, what media do you want to use to keep in touch with that client? Do you want to give them special access via your website through, you know, portals that take you into agency management systems? Give them ability to communicate with the agency. Whatever it happens to be, resources that you can put up on the site for those particular clients to use. And then do you have communication plans in place? You'd be surprised that some agencies do not have new clients offerings. You know, what happens when a new client comes up? You're onboarding a new client. What are you doing in that regard? What do you do when you're renewing a client? Are you just automatically sending them a renewal, or are you doing something with it? And then, of course, if you have claims in process, what kind of a communication plan do you have in place that you tell your client that you at the agency follow so that they feel comfortable from the time that the claim is submitted to the time that it's adjudicated and everything is closed? Is everything being handled appropriately and the client knows what's going on?
You know, and on that, on new clients, I just can't believe that. I saw some statistics that blew my mind, that how many agents never have talked to a client, never talked to, I can't believe it. But I have Mike Stromso, who's a profit producer. He's a great agent. I've already done two, or he's already done two with me, Monday mornings. But he's going to do another one on the welcome kit. And he's a believer in the welcome. And so am I. Once I see these things, they're phenomenal. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah, it's very, very important because, again, these are differentiators between you and the guy down the street, the gal up the street. And remember, when you are dealing in a virtual world, your client base is that much bigger. So you need to be able to touch that client, and the best way to do that is by onboarding them, letting them know that you're loving them, caring for them, you're there for them from a servicing standpoint. And then when you do communicate during the year, they're open to those communications, those newsletters, those electronic blasts. And then when it comes to renewal, you know, then you put your next plan into place. And again, it gives them that kind of nurturing feel that you're out to protect them and their needs and making sure that they're properly covered. Risk management is critical. And a lot of agencies are moving from, you know, being property and casualty to risk management. And I think that there's a lot of risk management components that, again, really open up additional dialogue with the client about what the agency can bring to the client as a value added. So it's just not products, it's what services that you can provide that is going to keep a client with you over the years. So let's wrap it up with taking the time to plan. So how do you do that? Well, you know, we tend to, some managers or principals tend to meet with themselves and then determine what the agency is going to do. Well, I like the idea of including and having meetings with producers, account executives, and CSRs. And they actually could be one group or three different individual group meetings, because you will be surprised at the perspectives that come from each one of these as it relates to what they perceive to be good client services, the type of products that they've been asked about that maybe the agency doesn't have or doesn't represent. And then more importantly, what can the agency do to assist the producer to be successful? What plans, what marketing can I give you? What communications can I give you that is going to help you in your efforts to sell and service your prospects and your clients? So having all of those sessions and then creating the plan, you will then have a very dynamic document that you can then use on a month-to-month basis, which is what we do at Agencies Online, to make sure that you are achieving the plan that you have committed to your agency personnel and that you're executing it on a very timely and consistent basis.
Well, this is pretty good because you're going over the basics. You know, we need to go back to the basics. Maybe we should have called this thing "Back to the Basics" here, but it's true. I think every agency that listens to this should pass it around to their people too to get it.
To get buy-in.
Pardon?
To get buy-in from their agency itself.
Yeah, absolutely right.
They all
well, look, and of course you
information.
do that, and you talk to these agents every month, and I suspect, Val, that you've done more agency marketing programs, including the websites and the interactive stuff and the amazing apps and all that anybody in the country that I know about. I couldn't do it. I mean, I don't see how you do it. I don't see how you keep up ahead of those people, but you do, and I think it really works. So for the rest, Val, thank you for this. I appreciate you doing this kind of on short notice. I was trying to think what to do today to make it very basic and back to the basics, and you've done that. So I think that people can get hold of you through any of these things here. I got you got your phone number, of course. You can go to our website, AgenciesOnline.biz, and you can. I think the best thing always a demo, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it because it gives you a pretty good overview of what the solution actually is. But I think probably the most important part of the solution is just what you said, is spending the time with our members to help them determine what it is that they would like to achieve. And then it becomes our charge to make sure that the agency accomplishes that by helping them to achieve whatever their objectives are. So
I think you're totally correct, and this is the only. I've been doing these for a long time. This is the only time I've ever. We tried not to make this an outright commercial per se, but I think if you're going to do this thing, you better compare. You better see what's available, and once you see this and hear Val, and well, you'll understand. Val, thank you, and the rest of you can go back to the email. There's a demo. You get the request for demos right on the email, incidentally. Or you can go to AgenciesOnline.biz and you'll see that, and you'll see Monday mornings there and demo, or you can go to roughnotes.com and see it. So please do, and I'll look forward to seeing the rest of you. Thanks again, Val. The rest of you Monday morning.